So there are two methods in determining the fin size that would be ideal for the board and sail that you're going to be using. The first method is to take the width of the board, divide it by 2, and add on 1.5 to 2 centimeters. The other method is also to use your sail size times by 5 and add 4 centimeters. There's one method using the board width and one method using the sail size. These are really just generalized formulas. It will still vary a lot depending on your weight and your conditions and the type of water that you are sailing in, whether it be fresh water or salt water. So don't take it as a direct black and white rule. These are really just a broad idea of the kind of range that you want to be in when you're using specific sail size versus board size. There is a big misconception around the reason why you get spin outs, and I think a lot of the times guys would blame it on the fin manufacturer and the fin brand, whereas it's actually from your side that you could easily correct a mistake to avoid spin outs. If you just understand how the fin works and actually what leads towards the event of a spin out. The most important part is when you accelerate and when you're not on your high speed yet. The fin really performs at its optimal level once you are on top speed and planing it at full power. So when you go at high speeds, the fin is generating a lot of power under the water. So then you're really able to push hard onto that fin. But at low speeds and when you're actually in the acceleration phase, the fin is not generating enough power for you to push so hard onto the fin. Therefore, you are overpowering the fin by exceeding the amount of pressure that fin can resist in that power phase. It's very important to be light on your feet when you are in the acceleration phase and you're trying to get onto the plane. It is almost like a give and take relationship with the fin. The faster you go, the more power you have in the fin, the more you can put pressure onto the fin. The less speed you have, the less power the fin generates, so the less pressure you can put onto the fin. The moment you override that balance, that fin is going to spin out. Especially for the softer fins, they definitely need to go at a high speed in order to generate enough power to press hard against. So when it comes to manufacturing the fin in preventing spin outs, the fin area must be chosen in such a way that the required lift can be produced in all conditions without the danger of flow separation. So a spin out is actually ventilation of the fin. What happens is, due to the low pressure on the surface, it sucks air and ventilation occurs on the surface. Flow separation will follow over the surface of the fin. Further aspects that can also cause spin out is obviously radical movements and high pressure on the board or the fin. When you're going to sail in very choppy conditions, your fin is going to go through various levels of loads. So you really need a fin that is going to react quickly to all these different load changes and allow you to maintain your proper trim. The load on the fin spikes and you can get slightly airborne when you go over chop or swell. So you want a fin that is slightly soft but not too soft, so that it can react and balance out all these varying different forces. This will help you cut cleanly through chop and swell and ride above all the mess that will be slowing you down. So for medium winds, you need a fast reacting fin with a very wide range. So in choppy conditions, that is why you really need good legs. So that will help you to keep the pressure on the board, keep the board in contact with the water, and also to help absorb all the shock that will come from the chop into your legs. In saltwater conditions, the water is more buoyant, so you will naturally sit slightly higher out of the water. So the difference would not come in the size fin that you use, but more in the model fin that you would get when it comes to Gasoil fins. So for fresh water, they have created the CHR Mega X fin that gives you effortless lift in these freshwater conditions in comparison to the CHRL and X fins, which are optimized for saltwater conditions. So by now you would understand why there is such a wide range of different models within the Gasoil range, because they gear you towards optimizing your specific needs and sailing conditions. So the different models are the CHRL, the CHRM, the CHRX, the Mega X, and then you get the ESLs, which are the speed fins. So first up, the CHRL fins are the most versatile fins in the whole of the Gasoil range. It is a neutral fin with balanced ratio between power, glide and control. In really strong winds, in small sizes, they will balance the board longitudinally and laterally in choppy conditions. So you'll have a much more controllable, stable ride. Because of its stable trim, the CHRL fin will have you at the most reliable, consistent riding experience when going upwind or downwind in all conditions. The sizes in this fin model ranges from 22 to 48. The CHRM fin is a fin that is very nervous during the acceleration phase and low speed phase, but when you kick it into gear and you are on a full speed, full power plane, this fin provides maximum amount of power, maximum amount of speed and also stability. So when using the CHRM fin, it is even more so important to, during the acceleration phase, be careful on it, don't step too hard on it until you are on top speed, then you can kick this fin into Ferrari mode. There is almost no limit in top speed when using this fin. So the difference between the CHRX and the CHRLs is that the base of the fin is slightly wider. So this will give you more control. And the top of the fin is thinner than the CHRL to give you high levels of speed. The CHRM fins are available also from sizes 22 up to 48. So the CHRM fin is my smallest size, which is my 30. It does not have any top limit in speed. It just keeps on accelerating. Doesn't matter the amount of pressure that I actually put on this fin. And then moving up to my 32, my 34, and also my 32 and 34 power box fins. Those are CHRL fins. Then my biggest sizes, which is my 36, 38 and 40. Those are all CHRX fins. The CHRX fins is designed for competition and performance without compromise. With smaller sizes, you get a lot more power out of them. So this is why with a 36, 38 and a 40 fin, which is my staple bigger sail size fins, I use these in racing conditions at low to medium wind strengths. And these really provide maximum amount of power in racing situations. And due to that massive amount of power it can generate, I get away with using a slightly smaller size, which gives less drag and more speed. So the design aspect of the CHRX fin is the concave drop at the tip of the fin that gives it a massive amount of power and lift. So the X range is definitely for the more powerful and experienced windsurfers. One of the biggest characteristics of the X range is also that you can get on the plane super fast, especially after the jibe. So this gives you competitive advantage on the water in a racing situation. The sizes are available from a 30 to a 48. Then lastly, you get the Mega X. This fin is an evolution from the CHRX performance fins. This fin is geared towards providing the most efficient glide of all the fin models and giving extra consistency and power due to its wider head and base. Also similar to the CHRX fins, due to the concave rear, it gives the fin more power. This makes the Mega X fin ideal for irregular and light wind conditions. The Mega X is available in the biggest sizes, so from 36 to 52. So I would say that if your spot is very light wind, irregular conditions, lots of holes, and you really want consistency on the water, you want to be on the plane throughout all the lulls, effortless lift, the Mega X is definitely the way to go. So when you take into consideration all these aspects of the fins, it really takes years and years of experience from fin manufacturers and fin shapers and fin designers who make these fins with precision, because each and every tiny millimeter can have a massive impact on the fin's performance. So when the wind is really strong, it's super choppy, so anywhere between 25 way into the high 30 knots. My favorite setup is using my 95 litre Fox, my 5.5 Severne Mac race sail, paired with my 32 CHRL powerbox fin. I currently have two power box fins for my Fox, which is the 32, which is in my border at the moment waiting for me to take it for a ride, and also my 34 power box Gasoil CHRL fin. As mentioned in my video review about my Fox 95 litre board, these two power box fins have absolutely generated the maximum amount of performance out of that Fox. I would definitely highly recommend, if you've got the Fox, invest in the Gasoil Fin power box range. When it's an outgoing tide and I've got less water pressure to press against, I would exchange the 32 for the 34 to just give me that extra bit of fin surface to work with, because our tides here in Nangabon are extremely strong. You'll also feel that if you are sailing in a spot with strong tides, you might want to go one size up when it's an outgoing tide, because you will feel that the fin will slip and you won't be able to get upwind, and your speeds will be slightly lower because you don't have that grip in the water. So just going up one size will make all the difference for you while still staying on the same board and the same sail. For the moderate to strong conditions, I would take my 107 litre Isonic, my 6.2 Severne Mac, and pair that ideally with my 36 CHRX Gasoil Fin. This combination covers such a wide wind range, so that is my setup for medium to strong wind conditions. Once again, if the tide is running out, I put in my 36. But when it's an incoming tide, I can get away with using my CHRL 34 Gasoil Fin. So it's always optimal if you can stick to the smaller size while still getting enough lift. And the CHRL range has definitely made that possible for me when using my 6.2. Then going one step up, when the wind drops further and it is light wind conditions, my favorite combo is using my 7 Severne Mac, my 107 Isonic, and pair that with my 38 CHRX Gasoil Performance Fin. That is the best combo for me for light wind conditions. Due to my lightweight, I really get planing very easy on that setup. I don't need much wind to use my 7 and that setup. When the wind is really light, and especially in racing conditions, I would go one step up to my 7.8, switch over to my 117 litre Isonic, and put in my 40 CHRX Performance Fin. With that setup, I can basically take on conditions that other people only can foil in. That big size sail and board, I get planing in no time, in very little wind. So I'm basically out in full power on my 7.8. when the rest of the people have to switch over to foiling, kayaking or supping. So for my personal sailing purpose, just so that you've got a point of reference, all my fins from Gasoil is in the medium flex range. So they've got a medium softness. Due to me being a lighter weight sailor, this medium stiffness definitely strikes the perfect balance for me in giving me effortless lift, but still ensuring that I stay completely in control in the high wind conditions. When you are very light, it's really almost impossible to overload a fin, except if you are in the acceleration phase. So I would definitely also rather than go for medium stiffness fins. What's super nice about Gasoil fins is that, as you can see, with all these varying elements and all these different models and designs and factors that contributes to a fin's performance, they really have got it nailed down to the T. And this makes it a no-brainer, because they will take all your elements and stats into consideration, and they will provide you with the perfect range of different models, different sizes, with the right amount of flex in those fins. Each and every single year since I've started sailing for Gasoil fins, the fins have gone from one strength to the next, and every year they improve massively. So right now with the 2020 range, I feel invincible on the water. I've had such amazing sessions on my new fin range. I think the best part for me about the 2020 fin range is that I do not feel a top level of speed. It just keeps on accelerating. The harder you push, the faster you go. Another very important aspect for me about the Gasoil range that I really appreciate is that the fins are super consistent. Each and every single fin comes in perfect form. There is no flaws, there's no defects, and every fin performs at the highest level. Sometimes with brands, different sizes performs better than other sizes, but with Gasoil you can expect the same performance out of every single size fin in your whole range. For a brand that can manufacture such a wide range of different fin models that is suitable for specific conditions, it takes years of experience. Ever since I switched over to Gasoil fins, my performance on all levels went right through the roof. It was a magnificent change and such a massive upgrade for me. And I would love for you to experience the same. So let me know if you have got any more questions in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of these kind of videos.